Here's something people rarely pause to question. We move through a society that constantly tries to quantify intelligence, grades in school, standardized exams, performance metrics at work. Quietly, almost without noticing, we begin to label one another. Bright. Average. Behind. But what does psychology actually reveal about those who fall at the far lower end of the IQ scale? The reality isn't as simple as most assume, and it may completely shift how you think about the mind itself. Let's explore what extremely low IQ really represents, not just as a number, but as a different way of experiencing reality. Because understanding this doesn't just tell us about cognitive limitations, it reveals something deeper about what intelligence truly is. To begin, IQ, short for intelligence quotient, is designed to measure abilities like reasoning, problem-solving, and how quickly the brain processes information. The typical average sits at 100. When scores drop below 70, psychologists categorize it as an intellectual disability. At levels under 40 or 50, it's considered severe. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. Having an extremely low IQ doesn't mean someone lacks intelligence entirely. Instead, it points to a mind structured in a fundamentally different way. The brain isn't simply malfunctioning, it's operating with a different internal design. And by examining that design, we start to uncover what intelligence actually means. Take the prefrontal cortex, for example. This part of the brain handles abstract thinking, long-term planning, and complex decision-making. In individuals with very low IQ, studies often show weaker connections in this region, along with slower neural activity. As a result, things many people do without thinking, grasping cause and effect, predicting outcomes, or reading subtle social cues, can demand much more effort. In some cases, these abilities may never fully develop. And yet, there's an intriguing contradiction. Cognitive researchers have found that many individuals with profoundly low IQ possess notable strengths in other areas. Emotional awareness, for instance, can be quite pronounced. Memory tied to routines and repetition is often reliable. Learning happens, not through abstract reasoning, but through consistent patterns and lived experience. Their world isn't built on theories or hypotheticals. It's shaped by what is immediate and tangible, sensations, emotions, and familiarity. Within that framework, many function with a surprising level of stability and internal logic. So this raises an important question. When we talk about intelligence, are we really measuring something universal, or just the ability to thrive in a very specific kind of environment? Psychologist Howard Gardner once challenged the idea of a single, unified intelligence. He proposed instead that there are multiple forms: language, spatial reasoning, social awareness, emotional understanding, physical coordination. Traditional IQ tests were never meant to capture the full range of human ability. They were designed to predict success in academic settings. Not compassion. Not connection. Not emotional depth. And that distinction matters more than we often admit. Behavioral research has repeatedly shown that individuals with extremely low IQ are far more emotionally responsive than stereotypes suggest. Studies on attachment highlight strong interpersonal bonds, genuine affection, loyalty, and sensitivity to emotional tone. This makes sense when you consider that the limbic system, the part of the brain tied to emotion, operates largely independently from higher-level reasoning. And in many cases, it remains deeply active and expressive. So what can we take from all of this? Looking at extremely low IQ through a psychological lens challenges some of our most ingrained beliefs. What we typically call intelligence is only one piece of a much larger puzzle. The human brain is constantly adapting, finding ways to interpret the world and create meaning, no matter how it's wired. And perhaps the most striking realization is this. The qualities we most closely associate with being human, love, fear, joy, loyalty, connection, don't originate in the parts of the brain measured by IQ tests. They emerge from deeper systems, ones that exist beyond numbers and scores. Understanding that doesn't just reshape how we view low IQ. It forces us to rethink what intelligence really is.